Middle East free of weapons of mass destruction, including their means of delivery. Well, that'd be a simple solution. Just, there are some nuclear weapons-free zones elsewhere in the world, so just bring one to the Middle East, the most important place, and then that would either mitigate or terminate whatever the Iranian threat is supposed to be. That's not the first such Security Council resolution. In a way, a much more interesting one is Resolution 687 in 1991. That's significant because it was used when the U.S. and Britain were trying to construct some kind of thin legal case for their invasion of Iran. They appealed to that resolution, which called on Iraq to terminate its nuclear weapons programs, which turned out they didn't have, but they appealed to that. And if you look at Article 14 of that resolution, it says it called for establishing in the Middle East a zone free from weapons of mass destruction and all missiles for their delivery. And so it follows that of all the countries in the world, there are two who have a special commitment to this program, namely the United States and Britain, who appealed to it to justify their invasion. Of course, that's never mentioned. I've never seen it mentioned in the United States or Britain, except by corrupt people like me and a few others, but nobody can hear it. The commitment is explicit and forceful, but it can't be addressed unless there's plenty of public pressure to force it into the open. And it's in fact primarily the United States that's been dragging its feet on moving towards establishing a nuclear weapons-free zone. There's enormous international support for it, so much so that the U.S., including the Obama administration, has been compelled to make a kind of a formal recognition and a formal approval, but Washington has added conditions. The latest one under the Obama administration, continuing the earlier ones, is a great idea, but not now. And furthermore, Israel has to be exempted. In fact, any proposal has to avoid calling on any country, meaning the United States, to provide information about Israel's nuclear weapons program. Only under those conditions can we move forward. All of this may come to a head very soon, this December. In December, there's a meeting, an international conference is scheduled on a nuclear weapons-free zone in the Middle East. That should be a leading concern for people who want to head off what could turn out to be a horrendous war. In the United States, it's impossible to find a mention of this outside of professional arms control journals. I don't know what's out here, but in Europe I think it's the same as far as I can figure it out. Well, that gives something to do. There's a simple solution. There's an obstacle, but the obstacle isn't immovable to the extent that Europe and the United States are functioning democracies. It should be possible to settle this problem simply, easily, just to follow the Security Council resolutions that the U.S. and Britain in particular are committed to, but have overwhelming international support, even majority support of the population in Israel. Can't tell about the United States because nobody's ever heard of it. Well, let's turn to Israel, Palestine. There are plenty of terrible problems in the world for which it's very difficult to even imagine a solution. So try to conjure one up for Kashmir or Eastern Congo, other cases. There are others for which it's quite simple. One of the easiest ones is Israel-Palestine. There is overwhelming international agreement, overwhelming, on a diplomatic settlement. virtually unanimous. Two-state settlement, international border with pre-June 67 border with minor and mutual adjustments, because it's a ceasefire line, so straighten out the line. That was I'm quoting the official U.S. position from 1967 up till 1971. At that point, the U.S. was still part of the world on this issue. So that's, there's also virtually unanimous agreement that the Israeli settlements, U.S.-backed Israeli settlements, are illegal. They're violations of the Geneva Convention. Every relevant authority has weighed in on this. UN Security Council, there's a Resolution 446 in 1979. The policy and practices of Israel in establishing settlements in the Palestinian and other Arab territories occupied since 1967 have no legal validity and constitute a serious obstruction to achieving a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace in the Middle East. That was passed 12-0, 3 abstentions, the United States and Britain and Norway. Perhaps you know why, I don't, but it's also been reiterated by the International Court of Justice. Even the U.S. Justice on the Commission agreed with that. He disagreed with some other things. It's also been recognized in Israel itself, way back in 1967, right after the war. Israel's leading legal authority, Theodore Meron, is now well-known international legal authority, informed the government that any effort to move people into the West Bank would be in violation of the core principles of international humanitarian law, the Geneva Conventions. He was backed by the Israeli Attorney General, and interestingly also by Moshe Dayan, who was the general in charge of running the occupation. He agreed that the settlements that they were beginning are illegal, but he pointed out that states violate international law, so we'll do it too. Which you can do as long as you get support from the Godfather. In illegally annexed East Jerusalem and the Syrian Golan Heights, there are, in addition to these resolutions, which there are many of them, there are specific UN Security Council resolutions condemning Israeli actions. So 1968, Israeli unification of Jerusalem and establishing the capital in Jerusalem is illegal. That one passed 13 to 0, no opponents, and 2 abstentions. The United States and Canada was reiterated in 1980. Then it was 14-0-1 only for the United States. With regard to Golan Heights, illegally annexed Syrian Golan Heights, resolution in 1981, even the U.S. agreed at that time, 15-0. So there should be a very easy answer to all of this. There's overwhelming international agreement. The legal situation is about as clear as anything can be in international affairs, but there is a problem. U.S. rejectionism and European Union complicity. Of course, Israel too, but Israel can go only as far as the United States allows. Can't do anything without U.S. support. There is also an important history which is unfortunately ignored. I'll just mention a couple of the crucial moments. One of the most important was in 1971. I think at that point Israel made the most fateful decision in its history.